So I have an assignment where my students, they ask me a question and they literally can ask me anything. And so I want to let them know. It's like, look, I take this serious, and so I'm just going to give this a shot. I have no idea how this is going to go, folks. I've looked at a couple of these questions, but I'm just saying, it's like, I'm just going to do it, right? And so the first question is, why does love suck? Okay. Probably because you don't have a definition of what love is. Because most people, they think that love is like this big foo-foo emotion and everything, when love is actually way more. It's a verb. Love is a verb. Love is something you do, right? And so if you're waiting for the feeling of love to kick in, yeah, good luck with that. Just saying. All right, anyway, next question. How was my summer? My summer was amazing. I became the assistant defensive line coach for my alma mater, El Camino High School. And y'all are going to hear more about that later on. But for real, I've been having a blast, like straight up. And so my summer has been amazing, amongst other things. And so, but anyway, what sparked you to learn or understand sociology? You know what? So the reason why I majored in sociology is because it was one of the few spaces where I felt like the way that I thought was crazy. That probably doesn't make a whole bunch of sense to folks, but if you've been a kid that you were raised all your life and the kind of questions that you asked were just not being asked by anyone, and when you did ask questions of older people, they just kind of look at you like, huh, why are they asking that? And that actually happened a lot with my professors. I would ask them questions, or teachers, and I would ask them questions, and they would just kind of be like, you know, and they wouldn't have an answer for me. And I noticed then that I looked at the world very differently than a lot of people. And so when I got into sociology, it really helped me understand that it's like, one, I'm not crazy. Two, there's a lot of people. There's a whole discipline designed around seeing the world the way that I do. You know, and so I'm not alone. And that was a really great thing. And so I felt like, you know, I found something that I can truly feel comfortable in regards to learning. And so that's what made me really go with sociology. Can you provide more extra credit? Yes, I could, but no, I'm not. Just saying. Okay. If you can change one thing you did when you were a student, what would that be? Ooh. You know what? I want to say, like, I wish I could have found my major early on, but I actually really enjoyed all the classes that I took in business and mathematics and all of that stuff. If there was one thing, it would have been when I was at UCSD, when I transferred to UCSD, and when I went to USC, is that I really wasn't all that involved. I was a commuter student, and so I would just come onto the campus, take my classes, and then bounce. And that's one of the things that, honestly, that I probably regret the most, is that I wish I could have taken more time to just be a student and just enjoy my time in that space versus just hustling all the time, hustling around to all these other spaces. That's something that I really wish I would have done a lot more. Because when I was at Maricosta, I was super active, meaning I was a president of the BSU. I was two-time president, student trustee of the Associated Student Government. And I was really active, and that's something that has carried me throughout my life. All the lessons that I learned in that space were really valuable to me, and I wish that I would have did more of that at UCSD and USC, right? How do you feel when El Camino plays Carlsbad? This is coming from a Carlsbad person living across the street from Carlsbad High. We gonna whoop that ass. Done. Okay, next question. Next question. Look, there's people who don't put down a question. Look, folks, I'm telling you, it's like I'm minus 5 points for just not putting down a question. And so that's just so petty to not ask me a question. That's just petty. What made me pick sociology? I already answered that. How long will our poem be when we have to write a poem? Is this a topic that we can choose? Oh, you know what? This is something I really appreciate about what I'm doing in my class this year, is that I'm actually going to have them write a poem. I mean, actually have them write a poem in class. And and I want to, and yes, they will be able to write their own topic and whatnot. I'm actually going to do workshops on it because one of the things that I really want to do this year is focus on helping students find their voice. And I know that everyone's like, tripping out because it's a poem or whatever. It's like, look, you don't have to be a poet to write a poem. And poems, I feel, are one of the best things to help a student, help a person find their voice. And so I'm really looking forward to that as a new assignment. And like I said, I know that there's some students that are tripping out about it already, but we gonna do it, and it's gonna be amazing. And just saying. And so anyway, I'm trying to keep these videos short. And so I'm just going to chop them up into little pieces. And so that's the end of my first segment on the questions that students ask me.